came back to this idea again. This idea came back to me about toxic empathy and narcissism. I feel like they're on the same line, just on different polar opposites, right? What is the thing that narcissism and toxic empathy maybe have in common? I think, in my opinion, that they have in common is that both allow the inner critic to rule. Both allow the inner critic to sit on the throne of their hearts. But with a person in toxic empathy, how they try to silence that inner critic is that they have to find people frantically to show love and compassion to. Who can I find to show that I care about them and that I'm listening and that they're heard and that they're special, right? How can I show that I care about someone? Because their inner critic is probably telling them how selfish they are and things like that. So then you might find people who give so much to others and as to where it starts to hurt their own self. They don't value their own selves. The other thing that these two, toxic empathy and narcissism, may have in common is the lack of self-worth. So giving to others to the detriment of your own self, right? And then you swing over to narcissism. They allow the inner critic to sit on the throne of their hearts, and how they silence or try to silence this inner critic is by trying to find people, frantically finding people on the outer world to be superior over. Who can I be better than? Who can I reign over? Who can I dominate? This helps them silence that inner critic, maybe, or that they need to find the scapegoat, essentially. The toxic empath needs to find the scapegoat to pour their. No, they need to find the person to pour their put some love on, and then, but to the detriment of themselves, right? So they kind of carry on being scapegoated. And the narcissist needs to find that scapegoat. Well, fuck. I guess that's why narcissists and toxic empaths go hand in hand. The one needs a scapegoat and the one is a scapegoat. But we can come out of being the role of the scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to stay there. This is not like judgmental or anything. So the narcissist is looking for a scapegoat. They need that to silence their inner critic, and it's a perfect match because the empath, or the toxic empath, I say, is looking to be scapegoated in a way, unknowingly. They think they're doing something good. You know what I mean? I'm not demonizing no one here. So, so the narcissist needs to find someone to be superior or someone to serve them hand and foot. And the other person is looking for someone to serve. This is why, I don't believe in teaching children that they have to learn to serve others and things like that, because I think that children have to go through what people call like selfish or whatever. Like they have to, they're growing. They have to learn about themselves. They have to be secure and confident in themselves, through their parents' love and guidance. And then when they get older, and they can, I think, they can discover or give to others, whatever. But trying to make a child focus on how they can serve other people, I don't think is like a very good idea. I think can set them up for being taken advantage of. But anyways, that's not the point of this message. So I guess on the middle ground, right? Because we like empathy. Empathy is nice, you know what I'm saying? But we need to have high regard for our own self. And so, in order to be maybe like in the healthy middle, I don't know, we need to dethrone the inner critic. So, in neither of those polar opposites are they taking the time to dethrone the inner critic that is being the force to their actions in a way. So we dethrone the inner critic by loving ourselves, right? That's kind of cheesy. That's what you hear, right? Love yourself. But it's in these little moments, like when you do like therapy on yourself, when you sit through the emotions and what you're thinking and you write it out. And then in those little moments where, over where you're condemning yourself, you give yourself love. You go back, you give yourself love in that moment. These little things, I think, are what help us, grow in the love and compassion for ourselves. So, yeah, I put the happy medium is loving oneself and showing great compassion to oneself. Asking, how can I love myself here? While the inner critic is trying to rule, how can I love myself in this moment? How can I say something differently about myself in this moment? And I think that doing those things can help to grow our love for ourselves and help us value ourselves above others. And that's not to say we put others down or anything like that, but loving yourself, valuing your opinion of your life above others, right? Above other people's opinions about you. You value your own opinion about your own self and love yourself. And as the old adage says, you can't love others until you love yourself, right? But it's just like when you hear that, when I heard that when I was younger or whatever, it's just like you don't know, what does that look like, I think it looks like dethroning the inner critic. But you have to take the time out when it's happening, right? Because a lot of times we let the inner critic run in the background. It's just running, like the computer's just like, it's just running in the background. But you got to stop, take note of it, write it down, go through it, show yourself love. It's just that you got to take that little bit of time instead of allowing the inner critic to keep running in the background. So, anyways, that's the message that I wanted to share. And yeah, take care.